folks. Looks like we're live. So how's everybody out there in the world today? Go ahead and hopefully want to see how this is looking here. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. This should be playing, although I don't hear any sound coming out. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign at all, folks. Let's see if I can figure out what's going on here. There we go. Check 1 2. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this. Good, as long as we got some sound here. Actually, let me just go ahead and play a little bit and make sure that's coming out too. All right, good deal. It looks like it's working. Hello, guys. How are you guys? Hopefully, everybody's doing all right. Kind of working with a different mic today. I really like it. I just did a review on it. I think it was last week. The Comica CVM VM20. Go check it out if you haven't seen that video yet. Really awesome mic. I've got it using it right now. It's nice not to be hooked up to a lapel mic and everything. Today, I had it in the description that I was going to go over a new camera, a web camera that a company sent me, but I can't do it because it's kind of crashing, and I don't want it to crash the stream, and I don't know if it can, go ahead and put a different webcam on there in the middle of the stream and all this mess. So I'm just going to have to save that for an actual official video review, gear demo and review video, which hopefully I can get done next week. So be on the lookout for that. Sounds good to me. Bass Freak says, thanks so much. Let me just really quickly check my tuning. Let's see. I'm trying to get this light over here to behave. Got it kind of like on a yellow hue. Maybe it'll show up. I don't know. Going for the greenish yellow theme today if I can do it. Put down just one more. So we're going over a song called Dear Preacher Man, and I did some the solo video to this a couple of weeks back, I guess. Maybe it's a little bit longer. And I thought, it'd be nice to do some feel videos, some guitar licks, bluegrass guitar licks. That's one thing that everybody I notice on my analytics for my page, everybody's searching for bluegrass guitar or bluegrass guitar licks. Okay, so a little boomy. All right, let me fix that. I'll actually aim it towards me. See if that fixes it. I'm gonna pull that microphone down just a hair too, right about there. That should fix it. All right, so I'm going to do some licks today. I've been wanting to do these, some feels, and don't have the tabs or anything like that. I'm not sure if I'll do the tabs. I thought about doing like a tab pack for feels, just feels for like different songs. But I noticed last year that tabs didn't bring a whole lot of income. So I don't know, I have to kind of reevaluate how I'm going to approach those. I may have somebody make those for me so I don't have to spend time doing them. Although I do like doing them because they actually help me learn and understand how music works when I transcribe them. So let's go over to my screen. Let me first of all get the right program here. And as I go over to my screen, you should be able to see the project for the Dear Preacher Man mix file. Okay, and what we're going to be looking at are the feels here. Okay, so if I scroll over, you can see all this stuff. All right, some different feels that I have going on for the whole thing. Let's see, it's been so long since I've used Reaper, I can't remember exactly the shortcuts for the zoom features, but there we go. So we've got a lot of feels to cover, I don't know if I'll do all these today. I know I'm going to try to do just the first half ones, all right? So definitely want to cover those and just see where that goes, and we'll go from there. So this song is in the key of, I think, D sharp. It may be D. Let me quickly listen to it real quick. Now, there might be some audio discrepancies. I'm going to try to get this where you guys can hear what I'm hearing. But I've had a little bit of issue with my audio interface, the Evo 4, trying to figure out how to get it to where it will play on, you know, it will pull computer audio from the stream, and I'll actually be able to hear it as well. Sounds better. Thanks so much, Bass Freak. Let me go over here to the beginning of the mix. Play a little bit of this for myself. It's actually the key of D. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think I'll just solo this, and we will see what's going on here. I'm going to zoom in. Also, let me go ahead and check. Let me know, since you're listening to Sounds, Bass Freak, I'm going to switch my output a little bit. Here's what I'm having to do. Since I've got the Evo, usually to get it to come through the speakers to where you guys can hear it, the computer audio, you have to use the loopback feature. Well, if I enable loopback on both of these, then I won't be able to hear what I'm doing. I won't be able to hear these licks. So I'm going to put my main output on one side, and on the right side, you guys should be able to hear it coming through your speakers too. So let's try that and see if you guys can hear this. All right, let me go try that, and let me know, Bass Freak. I'm going to actually mute my speakers coming out so that I won't hear it. Okay, and you guys let me know if you can hear this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. Let's just zoom into the first half of the song, since that's about as far as I'm going. So let me know, as this is playing, you should be able to see the cursor. Let me know if you can hear it, okay? Can you hear that? I hope you can. Hopefully I'll hear in just a second if you guys can hear it. Just post a comment. There should be a chat that you should be able to see on the YouTube. Let me know if you heard that. You could see the levels going, okay? So if I go back, we can see the levels right here. And you should be able to hear that. Now, I'm going to unmute my audio here, and you'll probably be able to hear from the actual speaker that I'm listening through. Okay, so I don't know if you heard that through my speakers or not, but we're going to have to go with that because I don't have the time. Actually, what I can do, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go back and make sure for myself. I'll go ahead and come back just a little bit. So let's see if I can hear this on my actual live stream. Doesn't look like it's coming through. Let me see if I can change this to both outputs. Loop back 1 and 2. I mean, I won't be able to hear it if I do that, but we'll try it this time. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Reaper, and then I'm going to play this again. Actually, hold on. I don't know if I changed that right or not. Yeah, I did. Okay, so if I check my actual loopback feature and I play it, loopback mixer, I don't know if that's going through or not. So I hope you guys can hear that. I don't know if you can or not. Let me go back here. And what I'll do is I'll go back to my stream. Sorry, this is taking a little bit longer than I expected here. Okay. Thought it was working. But, oh, I can't hear it. Okay, because I've got the loop back on. Let me go back here to the main output, see if that worked at all. I can hear. Sorry, it's just taking a little bit longer than I expected. Go back here. Hear that? I don't know if you can or not. Doesn't look like it wants to play. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to put it back on what it was. I don't know if that's going through or not. And apologize thoroughly for this. I don't know why I have so many issues with this, but I'm going to put this on my main output so I can hear what's going on myself. And you guys won't be able to hear the licks, I don't think. What I'll do probably is just go ahead and turn it up, because when I'm talking, it's going to feedback real bad. But maybe I can turn it up a little bit. See, hear that? I can turn it up a little bit so you can hear what's going on here. So let me go back to Reaper. And we'll start with the first one, which is the intro lick, okay? Okay, so you should have been able to hear that. So that is, if we're in the, we'll just do it this way so you can actually see what's going on here. Okay, so sorry about that. I bet there was a huge drop off on the stream because of that, but oh well. Hopefully it'll be all right. Everybody can fast forward if they want to. All right, so I may have done this on the solo too. I don't know, but there's a solo video of this. Okay, so we'll do that again. I'm in the key of D. So what we're doing then is, usually I would probably slide with my middle finger. And I like that distance, that minor second interval there. And if you're doing that, it goes to the E minor there. And if you do this, it's got the E minor 9 sound to it, which just sounds very, very good anyway. That goes to the A7, so you can let that ring out. And then the rhythm guitar actually goes. And then during that you go, which is just like a, I think they call these sixes. You hold the C shape down, this makes a D chord. That open G there, which is a sus sound. If I did this with the correct bass notes, okay, so it's E minor, A7, D. Okay, so that's the first intro lick, or the first lick, which is the intro. Now we're going into the actual feels, okay? So let's listen to the feel, see what it sounds like here. I think that's right. Oops. Go back. Let's hear it again. Okay. There that is. That's that 6 as I was telling you about. I'm on the 7th fret, and I'm sliding from the 5th. Slide on the D string, and then usually with my middle finger, I'm doing some hybrid picking. Or you can just do a pick. A little vibrato. Sorry. And then the next part again was okay, so that is I think I muted that note actually. It kind of cut off, but you need to hold it. I think that's what I'm doing. Let me go back and hear that one more time. So yeah, there's some harmony there happening. So that is okay, and all the while I'm thinking different shapes. Okay, so from here I've got this six shapes, which is kind of bluesy. And the reason it's called sixes is because of the interval that you're using. So let me see if I got this right here. So if I'm in D, it may be thirds. Maybe thirds. It's either sixes or thirds. Okay, that's music theory. Doesn't really matter right now. So here I'm actually thinking of the alternate D shape. I've talked about this in Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. And in D, it's right here. And Tony Rice, may he rest in peace. I was really heartbroken to hear about Tony passing away over on Christmas Day. Let me just go ahead and express that right now. He's been a big influence on me. First bluegrass influence was Brian Sutton, and then quickly after that, I learned about Tony Rice and just consumed everything from him, bought some master classes and all kinds of stuff. Sadly, I've not been able to see him in person and live in concerts and everything like that, and unfortunately I won't be able to now. But I'm thankful that we have all the footage that he has graciously given of himself and of his ability, so that we can learn from him. And so I've got a lot of Tony Rice bluegrass stuff here on my channel. If you'll check out and do a search for Tony Rice, a lot of stuff will pull up. Okay, so this is that shape he uses a lot when he's soloing in D. He uses it when he plays in Gold Rush. It's not exactly it, but he uses that a lot. And that's part of that six shape. But we're using the back three fingers here. We're doing ring finger and the middle finger on the D and D and B strings, and then this first finger is hit here on the G string second fret on that A. Now here's the regular D. This is what I call the alternate D. This is actually an inversion. Okay, this being the third in the bass, it's a first inversion. Okay, if we had the fifth in the bass, it's actually a second inversion. But since I'm not changing anything, I wouldn't technically call that inversion. I would have to change my fingering a little bit. So we're doing the third inversion, or the alternate D as I call it. Reverend J. Beatty. That's my dad, folks. He says, afternoon. Afternoon to you. So back to the show. I always like it when my dad shows up. This is probably some good background noise for him to study along to or whatever. So we have that shape, that Tony Rice shape, that alternate D shape, and we're going to move that up here to the G position. In that sense, if I'm playing a G, that root note where the D usually happens is right here, right? So if we take this alternate shape, now we put the root note. This is D, so it's D. If we make that a G on the 8th fret, we put these down around that. Now we have this shape. This shape I use all the time if I'm soloing in any key that I need to move up the neck. In this case, it's D, or excuse me, G. I'll use that up here. If I'm an A, I just know to put my finger on the root note here, and there I am again. Okay, so we can do that all day long with that shape. That's really handy. So in this sense, I'm just taking this much and barring here to make kind of like an A and hitting that shape. That's a kind of a long way around explaining what I'm doing, but I just wanted you to get the underlying premise of that. And that's that harmony kind of, hammer-on double stop sound you get. So that's how the riff started. Remember, it was, and then you got, once again, I'm thinking of this shape. I've got all these notes around this area. And usually if I was to play this, I would go down, pull off from the 8th to 7th, up on this G, 9th fret, and then down on that 7th fret G. because usually in bluegrass, and I talk all about picking on Bluegrass Guitar Essentials as well, you can check all the 3 courses that I've got on bluegrass at bluegrassguitaressentials.com. I just recently released Beginner Bluegrass Guitar, which is for everybody out there who's transitioning from learning to play the guitar to wanting to do a little bit more than just campfire songs. Okay, that's basically in a nutshell what that is. But in Bluegrass Guitar Essentials, I talk about using the different pick accents and why you want to land on a downstroke a lot of the times, and how you can tell which beats to program your picking to. All that's in there, okay? So, I'm getting all kinds of notifications here. I need to go ahead and mute that. So that's the first 2 parts. We have the intro, and then we have that lick. Once again, the whole thing here on the lick. I'll try to vibrate that too, if I can. And I don't think I slide. I try to mute that. Or let it fade. You know, right when it's about to die, or sometimes on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that's not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like on one of those beats, because it just seems to mix a lot better and sound a lot better when you can kill it on a beat like that, on a strong beat. Okay, looking at some more riffs here. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, and see what that one sounds like. Okay, so that one sounds like once again, this whole shape, you can use that a lot of things with that. Let's see. I don't remember exactly how I did this. If I did that, it would be a slide. And I would kind of lift off that to kill that string. Now, here's one way you can discern where on the neck that licks happen. Okay, each string has its own kind of what you might say timbre, T-I-M-B-R-E, and that's the sound, the resonance that it makes. This is a different sound. It's a thicker, fuller sound than this. So if I can't remember how I did it, I'll go back and listen for that, the timbre. Is it a thicker string or is it a thinner string sound? Okay, so let's go back to that and we'll see what that sounds like. That sounds to me like a thinner string. Let's try it again. Okay, it sounds like a thinner string twice. Once again, listen to what happens on this fret. A little bit of scratching, but not as much as this one. Okay, so those 2 strings have a different timbre as well. So this one, it's a little bit different, but it has a really nice sound to it. It's going to start on this A, and I'll work out the picking in a second. Now here it could be a pull-off or an actual pick. So let's go back and hear that, what that is. That. I think I'll just leave it at a higher volume. That way you guys can hear this. It's not feeding back. That's 2 picks. Okay, so back to that. Do a little vibrato there. And with vibrato, you don't want to immediately go into vibrating that string. You know, that's kind of exaggerated. Usually, you think of a singer, okay? When a singer plays, but when a singer sings, a lot of times, I've noticed over the years, they'll hold a long note out, and at the end, when they really want to put some emphasis on it, they'll do some wiggles. They'll vibrate that note, okay? So at the end of this, really emphasize that. Now, the lick is not that long, so I've got to add vibrato a little sooner, but I'm not going to do it immediately. I'm still going to have a little bit of a gap. There's a little bit of a gap there before I start vibrating that string. That really puts a lot of personal style on the way you play and a lot of character. Vibrato is so important. Okay, so once again, that one was... Now the picking would be down, 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 up. Down, 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 down. All down except for that up stroke. When you're coming from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret, that's a down, up. Down, up. Now, I can hear a lot of notes ringing out. Now, that's one reason, if you've been watching my Instagram, I posted a video, I think it was yesterday, me recording with the Gilbert family, and I've got this huge towel over my strings. A lot of times I've got this little neon scrunchie that I use to place over the strings if I'm recording so that they won't be ringing out. This is kind of close, so I'd have to put it like here on the fret or whatever. If you've seen too, on a lot of my guitars back here, I use what's called a fret wrap, and I can use those as well, but you can use any kind of like hairband or scrunchie or whatever, and that will mute a lot of those notes. But I try to mute those anyway with my hand. Usually it's my palm and my thumb, this side. And then sometimes I'll land on a string with my pick. And I'll hit this note and rest on that G string so that it won't ring out. But I'm hearing, I think, the D string trying to ring out. And so I'll just land on that G string and then put my thumb, this part of my thumb here, on the rest of those top 3 strings. And so that muting helps from a lot of notes ringing out and things like that if you don't have a scrunchie on hand. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I'm going to try not to ramble so much, guys. I don't want this to be a long video. I know I ramble a lot, but I'm going to try not to do that again, all right? So let's go to the next one. That was lick number 3. So let's listen to what we got so far. Okay, the next one I've muted because it didn't seem to, fit there. Let's go to the next one then. It's a short one. Ba-da-da-da, just going down the major scale, right? Ba-da-da-da. And let me go ahead and I think I'll just switch back to this view here. You can see plenty here. And I don't want to have to forget about the licks in case I forget that. But that's... So really, really easy. Pull off, G string. That's a down, then up. Little vibrato. Let's see if you can hear that vibrato, okay? Let me go back to that. It might not be as prominent there. Now, it's kind of like a little hiccup there because when I try to use Reaper, a lot of times it kind of hiccups a little bit. Sometimes I have to restart it and all that, but Reaper is an awesome program. I definitely advise you to check it out if you're looking at some DAW, getting you a DAW. Once again, down, up, down, pull off, up, down. Now I know these fills, these guitar licks, don't really sound in context right now, but they will, okay? We'll go back over this and let you listen to some of these. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that now. Turn all the rest of the song on and go back and let you listen to the beginning up until this part here. Be listening for those feels, okay?
Dear preacher man, would you care to pray
ba-da-da-da, right when it's going to that E minor. Right when it's going to that E minor, we have that ba-da-da-da. Need a little help from up on high. Okay. So, by the way, that's in the rhythm section, but that is a really easy riff. It's down. Let's see. Down, down, up, down. Once again, we want that attack to happen on that last note, so it needs to be a downstroke. Okay, but we can hear it in context if you'll think about on the beat where it's landing on the beat, and you know the rhythm guitar kind of helps with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we got next. A lot of people, you know, ask me how do I know where to put fills and things like that. It's you just get over years you learn how to do it, and a lot of times when I show you a bluegrass lick, people will ask me how I know where to put this in. So hopefully you can get an idea of this. You can go listen to the single "Dear Preacher Man," either on my Spotify, or you can go to my music page at ericbatty.com/music, and there'll be a link to listen to it on Spotify there, and I think other music distributors as well. That way you can kind of hear these in context. Now the way I've set my fills, I've set the fills on the first half of the song on the left and the second half of the song on the right, so that they kind of stand out a little bit better. So you can go through these and listen to these and try practicing some of these licks yourself, all right? Moving on, we have a little bit of a longer one here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what that sounds like. Let's solo that. So that is, I know that automatically with that. Let's see. So listen to that last part again. The last part's tricky. But I think I'm only hearing 2 notes on that last one, okay? So the first part, I like to use this chord, if you will, a lot. And rather than 1 note at a time, this also is a fill. I mean, you can use anything to fill in some gaps. Usually the fills happen in between singing. So I need a little help from up on high. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. There's a little fill there, okay? So in between any kind of gaps, that's where you would put your fills to fill the gap. So this is happening here. This is kind of like an A11 suspended type weird deal, but it's not hard to chord. It's just a weird name. So all that is I'm thinking of A, and then here I'm thinking of the G shape, or excuse me, the F shape, but it would be on G. If you lift this up and add, if you lift the first finger up and don't bar it and just have that open E string and add that open A string, it's a really, really nice sound. It's like an A7 suspended or something like that. And that's the actual A. And I'm also leaving that E string open. So right before you go to A, like if I'm doing need a little help from up on high. 3, 4. There's 2 measures of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. If I go to the first A, make it this one, it really sounds nice as if it's leading into the actual A. So from up on high. Okay, so that's the idea behind that one. Now that is this F shape here, and I'm just hitting those. I'm kind of hybrid picking again. Okay, now just a little slide. It's a lot of squeak. I don't know if you can see that on there, but I've kind of dialed the squeak down a little bit. You can use like string lubricant and things like that to kind of help dial that down. But basically, I'm hitting the first note, kind of hitting like a staccato, and then let it ring out. Okay, so I'm going to hit those. It's going to be pick, middle ring, and pick, middle ring on that slide. and then usually I'll hit that ring finger on that B string. And then for the last one, since it's hard to get all three of these down, doing that, I just hit these two and bar this. Okay, and that's forming the kind of like this B shape or long A shape of the D. If you're familiar with a caged system, this is kind of all based around this. We have a D here, we have a C, so that's C shape, there's a D, A shape, G shape, and so on and so forth. I don't think of it that way because I didn't grow up looking at it like that. I didn't know about the cage shape for years. So I just begin to visualize these shapes in myself, and I know kind of what I'm looking for now. I know this is kind of like an A shape here. I don't have to have the whole, you know, weird conglomeration of that. I just know that's a long A based on old timers playing their long A's and their cheater G's like that. You know, they'd always play their cheater G's like that. I was too good for cheater G's, so I always made the whole chord. But anyway, that one once again. Okay, now once again, I gotta watch out that I'm not snapping it too hard. It's not gonna sound right. Now you don't have to do that again. You can actually go and then emphasize that B there. And then the last two notes, we're just gonna hammer on there, right? All right, so let's look at another lick. It's gonna be right here. Let me count that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's on the and of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and. Okay, let's go back. Once again, I'm thinking of this whole shape. But now I'm in the D. So I'm thinking of that long A. So that's kind of an arpeggio. It's actually an arpeggio. If you think of it that way, yeah, we're separating those notes. If you're not familiar with arpeggios, basically that's just playing a chord broken up. Okay, so we just have, and that's requiring a bar for the whole, from the B to the D string. And usually I would lift up on that bar by the time I go to that D string, because that allows me to vibrate. You can't really vibrate very well if you got all your finger down on all these strings. And then a short vibrato, and then an upstroke on that A string, right there would be 9th fret. Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but that A string's trying to ring out. So what I might do is like hit that and just pull back on that A with my hand. It's kind of hard. It's hard to do. That's why it's nice to have little tools like the little fret wraps and things like that to mute those open strings. So it's just really hard to mute that sometimes. So, but that's this one, okay? Now, I might be able to do it with my palm. That sounds better. So I can actually come down on my palm, lift it up, and then come down. It's muted. But I can actually hit the D string on the way down. All right? So that's really cool. Different techniques like that. I'm learning a whole lot myself personally about muting strings for a cleaner, clearer sound, especially with distorted guitars. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so that one is, I'm thinking again, here's the, if we think of the 1-4-5 of a chord progression, we have the 1, in this case is D. The next one, in this case is G, but I'm using the D shape, so that's A shape, D shape. 2 shapes up would be the 5. 1, 4, 5. Okay, so what I'm doing is just these 2 notes. I'm on the 5. The last one, I don't think it's harmonized. It's not harmonized. Okay, so that's just going to harmonize double stops here. I'm on the 9 and the 10. And then the way it sounds like I'm doing on the record here is, on the song, is I'm barring this and letting that note ring out while I'm messing around with this B string. Okay. Hybrid pick again, and that's probably going to start with an upstroke. Down, down. Doesn't really matter. It works both ways as long as you hit that downstroke on the last note, okay? I can start with a downstroke after this next hybrid pick. Automatically lands me on that downstroke, but it kind of feels weird. So if I start an upstroke, I just hit 2 downstrokes there. It's not going by too fast that I can't do that. Okay, once again, I'm kind of curling everything up and muting them strings so that none of them rings out. All right, so you can put your fingers on the strings, try to keep those silent. Sometimes I'll go back to the previous string, so if I'm hitting the G, I'll go back to the previous string and mute it like that. I'm trying to get out of that habit because if you ever bend strings and you got the pick there in the way, a lot of times it'll catch and it will mute it, and you won't want that in the middle of a nice bend, you know, on an electric guitar or whatever. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. Make sure that, okay, here's the next one. Da, 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's see. Da, 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 let me go back and listen to the whole song up to this point. The previous lick there. Lord, I need someone to tell me about the Savior's love and how he. 1, 2, 3, and da, da, da. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where that's coming at. It's on the and of 3. My guess is that's happening up here. Let's go back and we'll see. Oh, next one. Yeah, both strings have like a teeny timbre sound. Okay, so let me get the camera right. So we're just doing a long stretch here, and we're still thinking of D, so these 2 shapes of D here. Once again, I'm coming back on those strings to mute those. Down, pull, up. That way we land on a downstroke for that last note. And once again, fills don't have to be these elaborate things, okay? These can be very small, and just to add a little character, add a little something to fill that gap. Whatever sounds good to you. At the time I was playing the song, I was just going over a lot of these different riffs and everything, these different feels, trying to see what sounded good. Okay, so use your ear. That's your ultimate guide, okay? To use your ear and see exactly what sounds good to you. All right, so just keep working on that. The next one I've muted. Let's see what it sounded like, though. I'm going to go ahead and unmute that. So that didn't fit. So we're not going to go with that one. All right, so let's go to the next one. That's one of my favorites. I had to fade that out real quick because I think it was clashing with something else. Let me zoom in for you guys here so you can see that better. You know what? Instead of doing that, let me just zoom in this way. That way you can see a little bit more. And I think, let's see, that way maybe? Yeah, right there. There, now we can see. All right, so here we go. There it is. Once again, I'm hearing the timbre of the notes, the string. Okay. Plus, I'm kind of thinking, where would I do this? It wouldn't be here because they're not ringing together, and they're not too sharp sounding. That kills that note. So I know that they're all ringing out. So I'm going to have more of this shape. All of them are ringing there, right? This is actually if you think of a suspended power chord here. There's a power chord and this bar chord, I mean. So the bottom is a suspended, okay? So if I take the bottom part of that, I've got the 7th fret G string and then barring the 5th fret B and E strings. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of leading into that note here. So I'm just going to put my middle finger back and hammer onto that. I think that's the whole lick. Yeah. Very nice. I mean, it's just kind of accenting a different way. Rather than playing, I put a lick into that chord. Okay, very interesting. So, down, up, down, up, up, down. And you can really hear it kind of like resonating and vibrating. It sounds really nice. Those harmonies mixing very well together. Especially that high E string. Kind of starts vibrating and has a different quality to it as the vibration gets a bit longer. Okay. All right, very nice. Let's do another one. We got a few more here. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do more of these feel guitar lick things, okay? Particle Man, hi Eric. Hey Particle Man, thanks for watching. Appreciate you coming and joining in. But yeah, let me know if you like these kind of videos in the comments below. If you'd like to see more of these, and if you'd like maybe for me to get the tabs for them. I don't know. I don't want to do a lot of tabs and then nobody be interested in them. So really trying to pick and choose a lot more of those kind of tasks this year so that I won't be wasting time on things that are more busy work than they are anything else. So let me know in the comments below if you like this kind of thing, if you like these live stream lick videos and things like that. If you'd like me to do more of these, I'd surely be happy to, because this helps me keep me on my toes as well. Okay, let's listen to the next one. That's a good one. I apologize for this audio too. You probably hear it in the speakers. Hopefully you can hear it, but it's really clicky and clacky and all that. Let me go ahead and quit Reaper, then open it back up. I didn't do anything, so I'm not going to save it. All right, let me go back here and open Reaper up. Back to Reaper here. Is that full? Yeah, okay. All right, let's see if that works a little better. Hopefully it does. Yeah, I didn't save it, so it's not back to my settings that I had it on. But we are back here on this long one, I do believe. There it is. Okay, good. I'm remembering my shortcuts now. All right, so here's this lick. Oops, solo that. It's still doing the little clicky clacky. I apologize for that. Let's go back and listen to these last two licks in context of the whole song. That's why I muted that, because you could hear the rhythm guitar. And I didn't want that clashing with that lick, so I just muted that there. Okay, so you can kind of hear these in context now. And that's a fairly long one. So, so that's telling me I'm in here in this area. Okay. That's, I think that goes to the G. I love those little, I forget what they're called, slurs. And that's hard to pull off. Once again, it's hard to do with those squeaky strings. But luckily I didn't have that part in the lick. So here's what I would do. Let's pretend I'm a beginner, okay, learning this lick. What I would do is I would play just enough that I needed and figure that out, and then I would play the rest of it and kind of build on top of that. Here's a great strategy for learning the licks and even solos. Just break it down, okay? I don't know what I was going to say earlier. It's something I couldn't remember, but when I was talking about this suspended chord, I'm using just part of it. That's what I call those short chords. And I go over short chords in my guitar course, Bluegrass Guitar Essentials. I'm trying to let you know which one of these courses, which courses that I go over these different things, so you know if you're interested in learning more, you can go to the right ones. We talked about arpeggios. I've got a course that's more advanced called Bluegrass Guitar Arpeggios, and that one's for more advanced people. So if you're looking to have more melodic sounds and wider intervals and things like that, and various licks like that, then that's the one you need, is Bluegrass Guitar Arpeggios. Once again, you can find all these by going to bluegrassguitaressentials.com. Okay, all those courses should be available there. So let's go back to this. There's a little pause. Not like that, but there's a pause as soon as I land on the hammer. And it's just a quick slur. Okay, let's listen to the rest of that. Now I got it. Goes the G down, pretty long. If we go back, let's see where it does go. Yeah, it goes to that G. So once again, that's kind of a tougher one, all right? So let me get down here so you can see a little bit better. I'm going down, up on the G. And I typically I tend to I've lost my train of thought. Oh, I typically bar that. Even though this is kind of the shape, I typically kind of bar that for that way I don't have to keep doing, individual things. That might be a bad practice, but that's just what I tend to do. Okay, so once we get back to the picking, down, up, down, slur, pull off, hammer, slur, pull off, up on the D, 4th fret, back to the G down, and then we got that up. You got to pick it hard enough so you can pull off. Now, there, I'm not sure if I do a pull off or if I just pick that. Let's listen. Yeah, it's not a pull off there. It's a up. No. Yeah, that's a pull off. Double pull off. Okay, and once again with a pull off, the key is you got to flick it. Pick it and flick it. All right. When I'm coming back on that slur, I'm flicking that ring finger. Up, down, pull off, down, pull off, down, up. Now I'm going down on the A string here so that I can go back up. But before I went up on the previous string. Now I'm going down on the A string. And then, once again, we got that distance back to that 3rd note of the G chord. Let's see. Lady Hughes says, I like this. Thank you, lady. I appreciate that. I was asking people if they like this kind of video where I'm just kind of going over some different fills and licks and things like that. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, most people, when they find my channel, overwhelmingly, the search results tend to be either bluegrass guitar or bluegrass guitar licks. And so I thought, well, since people are searching for that, let's give them what they want. Particle Man asks, is that a Preston Thompson? No, this is, I take this off, a Breedlove. Okay, this is my Breedlove Revival DR Deluxe guitar. This is basically called a revival because it's made like the pre-war Martins. Okay, it's a revival of that old pre-war sound and style. We've got a red Adirondack spruce top. We've got that X bracing, that famous forward shifted bracing. We've got East Indian rosewood because obviously regular Brazilian rosewood is endangered, so they can't use it anymore. And so that's the main tone woods of this, and it's just set up like a pre-war Martin. I love this guitar, especially because it's got a wider nut, and you'd be amazed at how much a difference that makes. If you get a guitar that has a wider nut than you're used to, it makes a huge difference in being able to move around and have more room for your fingers to move. But that's another story for another day. This is a guitar actually when I went to, I think I've got some videos. If you look for Breedlove guitar and scroll to some of the beginning ones, when I very first got this guitar, the story is behind that and how I got it and everything. So, okay, so that's that lick. That's the kind of the most advanced one we've had so far. Let's go to the next one. Looks like 2 in a row here. Is that where I was? Yes. I think that's where that was. I think it's there. So once again, it looks like I'm shifting back and forth between just this D shape and this D shape. But in this case, a lot of times, since we're in the key of D, I'm using that bar, that A, kind of an A shape. And that's how I kind of solo around there. I've got all these notes that kind of work. I'm not thinking pentatonic. I'm not thinking any of that stuff. I just know which notes are kind of available to me. If you go to the major scale, that's all the notes that are available to you right there. I tend to play a lot of pentatonic stuff and add extra notes in there from the major scale just for color. So, for example, The actual pentatonic would be but I'm adding. Okay. So that one is and that's probably starting with an upstroke there. Once again, that's why I bar here a lot, because I don't have to hop back and forth. For one, if I hopped right there, it kills that note, so those can ring out. So a lot of times I tend to just bar, emphasizing that G and that B string a lot when I'm playing in D. Okay, once again, you might notice my hands kind of rolling back on those open strings. I do not want those ringing out. Okay, and that's going to the G again, so that's these top two notes of that alternate G shape. Once again. Okay, and let's see here, whereabouts are we? 2 more licks and then we'll be done, I think, for the day. Here's this next one. Once again, by the way, if you're watching this later on, you can always rewind this, not rewind it, but you can always slow it down. If you go to that, that little gear icon on the bottom right hand of the video player, you can adjust the player speed. So if one of these licks is kind of odd for you and you can't figure it out, slow that speed down. Okay, that's a really, really handy tool that I'm so glad that YouTube has incorporated. Now, if they would only put it on their Xbox and Amazon Fire Stick apps, it'd be a whole lot easier to watch a bunch of these videos. Okay, so the next one, once again, is once again, that's part of that 3-note. So I'm just doing that again. Phrasing it a little bit different. You can use completely the same, basically the same licks, and just phrase it a little differently, and it sounds like a different lick. Okay, and all that is, once again, I'm going to the 4th and 3rd fret, thinking of kind of like a F shape in the G position. Okay, and I would probably leave both of those down as I slid, because the harmonies travel along with it. Actually, on this one, I lifted off the first finger. That way they would both be distinctly separate. And you could hear the other one ringing out. From where I slid, I've still got that G string ringing out. So as I'm sliding, I'm lifting the first finger. And then putting it back down when I'm ready to hit it. Down, up, up. Now, I might do an upstroke. I tend to do an upstroke there because it's going to fade out anyways towards the end of the lick. So I can, you know, kind of do an upstroke and be a little more subtle about it. Or if I wanted to emphasize it, then I would make sure I do the downstroke for the last one. But that's totally up to you, okay? One more lick. And it's another doozy. Let's see what we got here. This is actually going on into the solo. And let me go back, do these previous licks here. You can hear those. Face to face, I can say praise God, King Jesus to my place. Okay, and for the solo, you can watch the other video I did on this. He took my place, took my place. Let me count it real quick. It's kind of hard to count and sing at the same time. I can say praise God, King Jesus to my place. Probably on the and of 2. 1 and, or and of 1, I'd say. Let me go back to that. I can say praise God, Probably on the 2, actually. Let me see where I found that at. Okay, so once again, I'm listening to the timbre of the strings, and that tells me that it's down here that I was doing that lick. Okay, I was looking at the different notes that we could use on this. So that is... Okay, so I'm actually hitting that note twice. If I had my druthers, I'd go back and hit that note twice. I'd hit that note twice, but I'm hitting this one in the actual song. And so once again, here if I'm thinking of the major scale in the D, I'm just hitting notes from there, okay? And here's an interesting topic as well, note choice. And I don't mean, am I going to play an E, am I going to play a D, am I going to play a B? I mean, which E am I going to play? Okay? Because if we have different timbres in the different strings, then we have different variations on any one E note. Okay? And also in this case, I've got this E note or that E note. Now, think of this. They're pretty much the exact same. Not much of a difference there. But I can't vibrate that E. I can vibrate this one if I needed to. And plus, it's a little easier to get around then. And it kind of, that's a little bit more dissonance than I want. I could do that. But the minute I hit that note, we have these 2 notes ringing out, first of all. And I hit that note, it kills the other 2, and it kind of sounds weird. So I decided to use that long stretch there for my pick. And it doesn't sound anything different. It sounded like a fretted note, rather than all of a sudden we have 3 fretted notes, 4 fretted notes, and then this open, loud ringing note. Okay, so that's a different thing on note choice as well. That's a arpeggio that Tony Rice used a lot. I just so want to use that note twice instead. Let's just do it as that note twice. It'll be a lot easier. Now here I've got the opportunity, I've got the choice of going there, or what I think I did on the lick was open G string. And if at all possible, I want to leave that middle finger down on that D note. It just adds a lot more harmony. Sounds really good. And then you can also double stop those. So on the last part of that, I'd have to pull off that. And I would probably hit the double stop, double stop, double stop, and then hybrid pick, which is once again the very first I talked about this shape. Using this, it's going to be these two fingers, the ring in the middle. Now once again, the original lick was me hitting this note twice, but that doesn't feel natural, so I'm going to hit this note twice. Okay, somehow I would try to keep that G from ringing out on that last note. I could come down with this finger and kind of kill it, because I want those two to be the prominent notes. Or I'd hit it a little bit less hard. And even so, when this finger comes down, it mutes it. You gotta be careful, because right there I was trying to really mess around with it, and I bent that out of shape. Okay, so let me get down here where it's a little bit easier. Okay, picking wise, down, up, down, and then this hammer on is the first note that I hit it up there. Down, up, down, hammer, up. And then that puts me in position for a down here. Down, up, pull. Usually it's going to be another down, and another down, and then pull off there. And that puts me in position to come down, 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 hybrid. More time. Sometimes I might tend to, instead of, because it has a different sound. This is one right after the other, and this is simultaneous. I might want to hybrid pick those last four, phrases there. Okay, so once again, let's go to the very beginning and really try to pinpoint these licks. Okay, we're going to go to the beginning here, and you should be able to hear all these with the solo. Be paying attention to it, and I'll even turn it up just a little bit more so hopefully you guys can hear it. Well, folks, that is it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream of Bluegrass Guitar licks, specifically Dear Preacher Man Feels. If you like this video, please do so by giving it a like, giving it a thumbs up. And please let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this, okay? This is pretty interesting. It keeps me on my toes bluegrass-wise. It helps me go back and kind of rediscover some of these songs. And I would like to be able to do more of these if you guys think it's interesting, okay? Let me know if you'd like to see tabs for these. If I get enough requests, then maybe we can make that happen. But for now, we'll just kind of leave it as maybe just doing the lesson videos for now. I do videos like this on my channel just about every week, as close to Thursday as I can. I do gear reviews and demos. I do lesson videos. I do performance videos, all kinds of stuff. And if you like what you see, please do subscribe. Click the notification bell icon as well. That will let you know when I go live so that you won't be missing out. And you'll be able to be here with me as I go over these things, and you can ask questions. More than happy to answer these questions. But I really enjoy doing this. So thank you so much for watching. I'll check you guys out on the next video, whatever that may be. For now, please go to my channel and check out all the different videos I have. There's tons of them, all kinds of playlists that you can go through, and you can just have a ball learning all that you can and watching all that you can that I have to provide. Thanks so much for watching. Check out the links below in the description as well, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless.